at this beautiful casserole carrier or cozy. We're going to show you how to do this, and you'll have another beautiful gift that you could give as a Christmas gift, or it could be for any occasion. We have the pre-cut kits that has all the batting and the insulation in it. You want a heat barrier in there. This cannot go in the microwave. It is just made to put your casserole in after you have finished it. We also carry the Gypsy pre-cut bowl cozies, which is just batting. This one is microwavable, so you just want to be careful of the difference and know that you should always use all cotton in your material as well as your thread and your battings. So join us while we make this beautiful casserole holder. One package makes one casserole carrier. There's 3 pieces in it, but that's for one. You get 2 pieces of batting. And then you get a piece of heat reflective material. Now there's several out there on the market, but this one, again, it's pre-cut in there. We don't have to do any work on that part, which makes it nice. And this will make, I would say you could easily carry a 2-quart casserole dish in it. It's my guess. Kind of the standard size for our holiday cooking. So the way we're going to start this, we're going to take one of the batting pieces away. And we also need 2 fat quarters for this project. 2 coordinating. If you wanted to do 2 of the same, that would be perfectly fine as well. But 2 fat quarters is all you need. So this piece will be the inside of my carrier, cozy, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you have it turned the right way so it's all in there.
So can you show those layers?
Yes, let's see. Now we have our inside fabric, our insulated batting, and our regular batting. Those are the layers we want to do. And next we're just going to give it a little quilting. You can do as much or as little quilting as you'd like on this, but all that's necessary, we're just going to use the dart lines and go from dart to dot, dart to dart. So for our quilting, I'm going to use just a regular chalk marker because I am marking on the right side of the fabric. Normally I like to use friction, but I use those on the back. And I can feel that dart in there. So all I have to do, make a little chalk mark. And this just brushes off. And we'll do the same thing in the other direction. Kind of feel my way in there for it. And then straighten the ruler. There we go. I'm using just a regular straight stitch. I have got my length set. I'm going to move it up to a 3.0. And we are ready to go. Next, we're going to do the very same thing on the other piece of fabric. We have fabric right side up or wrong side touching the batting. Put it on there, mark it with our chalk marker again, and stitch it. And we are stitching with 100% cotton thread. With these bowl cozies, the small ones and the casserole carrier, you don't want to use anything but cotton. If you use a poly or a poly blend, if it gets too hot, that thread will melt. So always use cotton fabric, cotton thread. All right, so we've done our quilting. I'm using a variegated thread. You might can see that on camera. It's just a pretty green variegated. And I just wiped that chalk off and wash this out. And now we're going to trim it. All this excess, just trim it off. You can actually trim as close as you are comfortable trimming to the batting without actually cutting the batting. And if you're worried about cutting the batting, you could put your ruler on there, but I'm gonna give it this. Just going around it. And we're going all the way around, that's right, on both pieces. And so you're only trimming through your fabric, so you're not worried about thickness. Some of you may have made the bowl cozies that are so popular. There's quite a few videos on those that you can find. But we also sell that pre-packaged. I know a lot of you have made those and cut your batting, which you can do as well. We have it here in the store pre-cut, so it's easier and it's a time saver. But the bowl cozy is made the very same way. So now I'm just going to trim out my little dart area. All four sides. So there's one of them. We trimmed the other the very same way. Now we're all trimmed. All that's left is to make the darts and put the two pieces together. Darts, very easy. It's a V. I'm going to fold it and match it up, and I'm going to put a 1/4 inch seam there. Right down through there. And let me show you what it looks like real quick. It's a dart, just like in our clothing. And that's going to help with the bowl shape. We do that on all four sides of both pieces again. Now, as you can see on this one, where you've got the 2 layers of batting and your fabric, you do have quite a bit of bulk. Now, I'm sewing on our Baby Lock Ballad, which is a bigger machine, a stronger machine. It has a bigger motor in it. If you were sewing on some of the smaller ones, the thickness could be a challenge, but all you would need to do is switch to a walking foot and you would be fine. But this one sews it just fine. But I wanted to mention that just in case, because some machines I know do not like all that.
There we go.
Now I've got my darts on both sections, and what I'm doing is putting right sides together. The right sides together, I'm going to clip at the darts. And it pretty much just goes together on its own. It falls right in place, which is nice. And this is going to be my opening side. and just a few extra, just to kind of keep it from slipping. And I'm actually going to start where I want to leave my opening, and I'm going to leave it kind of wide because you've got quite a bit to be turning there. So I'm going to start probably about 3 inches from the curve. All right, this seam we're going to make at about a 1/2 inch. I think that will be better to start with, and we're also going to back stitch a few stitches so our seam does not pull open. Stitch number 1, if I put it on that particular stitch, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it has moved my needle over to the left. So now I can use the outside of my foot as my guide. And I got a little overhang of the fabric. Use your batting as your measurement. And here we go. And let's take some back stitches. And now we're going to stitch all the way around. Make sure I leave an opening big enough that we can get it pulled through. So we're going to come down here. And again, let's give it a back stitch. Or I could have used the knot stitch. Whatever works for you. And now we're ready to turn it. It's the magic. And lesson learned here. Make sure you get between the 2 layers of fabric so your insulation is not showing. We pick out pretty fabric, we want to see it. And it is bulky. Just keep working with it.
So what is your favorite holiday dish to bring to
Oh,
places?
places. Let's see. Well, I'm kind of known for my mac and cheese. Always have been. That's what everybody has always wanted me to bring. So that, and then, oh gosh, after that, I cook everything. Squash casserole, green bean casserole, Moravian chicken pie could do in a dish. So, and we like to eat. My church crowd likes to eat, my family, so these will be put to great use. And you know, it keeps it warm. Sometimes when you go to a covered dish, you put the dishes out and it could be half an hour before you eat. If you have it in this and it's insulated, think how much warmer it's going to stay.
My thought was for the car too, that you have to find something to put it on, or.
That's right. Oh, and sometimes they're so hot you think, oh God, I don't want to pack that just yet. Put it in this. But now remember, like we said, you can't put this in the oven or the microwave. This is just to put your casserole in when you take it out of the oven. And think how pretty it's going to look just sitting on your table. Bet everybody else's won't look as pretty. You know, that's how we quilters are. Have to fancy it up a little. Now, again, I just did the cross bar for the quilting. If you want to get fancy with your quilting, you can. You can do as much or as little as you want. And all we have to do is close that up. And we'll clip again. And this actually is recommended to close up on the machine. You can hand stitch if you care to. We're going to stitch because the yellow is going to be the outside. And I'm going to stitch this as close as I can to the edge. All right, we're going to take our stitch length up to about a 3.5 for the top stitching. I have moved my needle, I've shifted over to the right, 1.25, and now we're going to stitch this closed and also stitch around the edge. It will top stitch the whole piece. And that is it. We have finished a project completed in just a matter of minutes. This is our inside. That's all we have to do, minus the mac and cheese. It does need that. Thanks for joining us today.